What is going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video, and today we're here to talk about the treasure map and giving you guys a preparation video on what you should be looking out for and a couple of team builds in terms of more free-to-play centric teams that you can go ahead and try and aim for this upcoming treasure map versus Perospero, which is going live on the 16th of February at 1 AM PST time, which of course is 6 hours after news time has occurred, of course, so make sure to mark it down in your calendar so you don't forget the exact time that this event is going to be going live. So before we actually jump into the video, I want to talk about the actual character himself in Perospero. We did briefly talk about him when the data download did hit, but we'll talk about him once again. Perospero with a captain ability, who is obviously a quick striker cerebral, boosting striker and cerebral by 3x and then 10% damage reduction. However, the turn that you use his special, he will have a different captain effect for the next 3 turns, allowing him to be a 4 times striker and cerebral captain and give you 20% damage reduction. I think it's honestly a pretty good free-to-play captain effect. Not too bad at all. Really good in short-form content, obviously. And then his special ability, allowing you to get a 2.75 times chain lock for 3 turns and also lock your crew slots for 3 turns. Like, I don't even know any other special in the game that locks your slots for 3 turns. Pretty unique there, especially if you can, manipulate them to rainbow slots or Wano slots, for example. Also allowing you to do end of turn damage, 350 times his attack in quick damage at the end of the turn for 2 turns if your captain is a quick character. And the good thing about it is that this character actually has cooldown reduction, so he will be ready at the start of the quest. So you can use him to just wave clear a couple of stages if you need it, or you can use it to get around resilience. Like, this guy's actually awesome, and I don't really understand why people are complaining about this unit, because this unit is actually amazing. Also, if a cerebral character uses a special or a striker character uses a special, he gets an additional -1 cooldown, and if he has a quick slot and you hit a perfect, you keep it for the following turn. He does have slot bind as well, the cooldown. Like, he's a pretty good free-to-play unit, on top of the fact that his support effect attaching to any striker character, and if a striker character uses a special, you get a 1-turn orb lock. It's a pretty incredible support effect that's going to see a lot of play moving forward. Also, at the bottom of the screen here, it actually does mention that there are going to be new tablets that you can purchase from the treasure map exchange using 5,000 tickets per tablet, but you can get ship bind, fear resistance, limit specials, slot change impossible, the recovery tablet that Bonnie has, as well as hunger. All of them are going to be in the treasure map exchange for 5,000 tickets each, so relatively expensive as they usually are, but at least they're going to be available. And one thing to note is that it has been confirmed that hunger tablets are going to be in this treasure map as a point reward, and also ones you can drop from the chests in the map. So it's going to be great if you're missing hunger tablets. This is going to be a treasure map to try and get some more of them. So now that's all done with, let's actually start talking about each of these treasure map bosses. Now, I will say that this is a pretty difficult treasure map, at least for the intrusion boss and the final boss. I think it's actually going to be pretty tricky for a lot of players to get through it, at least if you are building more free-to-play centric teams, and if you don't have some of the more recent characters, especially the free-to-play ones like Jack, Blackbeard, Queen, etc., you're going to have a really hard time in this treasure map. But here are some more free-to-play centric teams that we can talk about. The first one is Jack. Now, Jack, with his little gimmicks that he'll have to deal with, is that he gives you 2 turns of resilience on the enemy side of the field, and 2 turns of damage threshold. Now, he does give cooldown reduction to all characters, so this is where they are just suggesting you to run the free-to-play Psy Straw Hats, and this team is going to work fine for an extended period of time throughout the event, considering you've got Luffy for attack boost, Zoro for orb boost, Sanji for chain lock, Frankie for color affinity, and the utility of Brook is able to remove both of the effects off of the enemy. Moving on now to the second boss, it's going to be versus King. Now, King will give cooldown reduction to strength, dex, and quick characters, and you can see in the corner there that the King himself is going to be a dex boss, makes it pretty easy. Now, his preemptive attack, you can see that he does change your slots into either Psy, Int, or Tandem. Now, if you have the free-to-play dex Jack, you can use his special here, which will make all of them beneficial, makes it pretty easy, but of course, we'll talk about my team in a moment. He also burns you for 7 turns, 10,000 damage per hit, so that obviously sucks as well. He does have a 28 hit combo barrier, so this is where, once again, the Arena Queen is going to be super valuable. He does also have a delay immunity, and also when he dies, he's going to do a bit of death damage to you, which is like 30% of your crew's HP or something like that. Basically meaning if you have some sort of way to survive, you got to be careful because he's going to do a lot of damage to you. So the most ideal way to get around it is by using Queen. Queen's captain effect is pretty good, Strength X Quick captain as well. It actually removes the burn. It will give you the massive amount of combo hits. I think it does like a 15 hit combo hit towards the enemy, which will help you get rid of that barrier. And of course, as we mentioned, you know, you can use the free-to-play Dex Jack to make those slots matching, give you a chain lock. However, I'm using Jack on a later team, which you guys will see for the free-to-play centric teams. But in this team, you can just use the Colosseum Neko special because he does have a delay immunity, and it'll change all your slots into matching and give a 1.75 attack and orb boost to powerhouse characters. So we just run a full strength team of powerhouse characters, and it's going to be pretty easy. So pretty powerful free-to-play team to get through the king fight. Moving on now to the next Battle Rush boss, which is going to be versus Queen. He's a quick boss, so you ideally want to build a Dex-centric team, but the cooldown reduction is for fighters, slashers, and driven characters, and Queen's preemptive attack changes our slots to badly matching. He gives special reverse for 1 turn to our crewmates, and special bind for 5 turns also to our crewmates. And the enemy does have 5 turns of increased defense. So the cooldown and the special bind centric effects are only activated for our crewmates. So ideally with this team, we're using the Blackbeard special, which gets rid of the special bind, gets rid of the defense, gives us a conditional boost against that as well. And then we have the Garb, which can deal with the special reverse for our fighter characters. We've got the Lucy character for an orb boost. We have the Kizaru for an attack boost. This is going to do a lot of damage moving forward. Pretty easy team to build for a free-to-play account, so long as you have been playing relatively recently, that is. The final of the Battle Rush bosses is against Kaido, who is also once again a quick boss, and he'll give cooldown reduction to fighters, slashers, and cerebral characters, and his preemptive gives us badly matching slots. He gives us 5 turns of a 1.1 chain lock. He will also special reverse the entire team this time. It is not just the crewmates, it is going to be the entire team. And the enemy also has 4 turns of damage threshold. So with this team, we're getting rid of the special reverse via the Trafalgar Law special ability, which can give cooldown to fighters, slashers, cerebral, and free spirit characters, which all of these characters fulfill. In terms of getting rid of the bad chain lock that is given to our team, Cracker can provide that, as well as giving us a full board of matching slots. The threshold is removed via Tashigi, as well as giving us a color affinity boost, and then we have an attack and an orb boost from the Ashura Doji and also the Doflamingo special. So this seems like a pretty okay team. It should do a pretty good amount of damage for an extended period of time in this treasure map. Obviously, if you've got, you know, higher point boosters, you would definitely want to use them if you have them. But you know, this should be a team that should work against this fight. Finally, taking a look at the final boss. So remember, we still have the intrusion to go through. This is the regular final boss that you will have to go up against once you reach the very last stage of the treasure map. Now, for this fight, Strength, Dex, and Quick characters are the characters that will be receiving cooldown. And on stage 2 against the mini-boss, unfortunately, we don't know who the mini-boss is, and we don't know what color they are. But in my opinion, considering the fact that, you know, Carrot and Wanda are a Dex and a Dex and Quick based character, I wouldn't be shocked if, you know, the boss is being Quick, meaning that the mini-boss is a Strength, so that you can use the Quick Wanda, or the Quick Carrot, should I say, to get type advantage against that, and then Dex Wanda against the Quick bosses. I would probably guess that, but obviously we have no confirmation yet. But anyways, for stage 2, we're inflicted with 6 turns of despair. Remember, that goes down to 3 with sockets, 5 turns of paralysis, 5 turns of resilience on the enemy as well, and there's also a delay immunity. Now, for this team to get around that, we're actually going to go ahead and use the special of the Don Krieg Pirates. That's actually a really good special for this quest because it gets rid of the despair, and it also inflicts a poison against the enemy, which can help you get around the resilience, as well as allowing you to get a conditional boost against that poison. Now, in terms of the paralysis, you see, this technically it's not free to play because we do have Legend Rayleigh attached to the Luffy character, but I mean, I mean, I wouldn't say it's free to play, but by this point, a lot of people should probably have Luffy. If you don't have, Luffy plus the Rayleigh support, if you have Corazon support, you could try and put a lore character on the team as well. Would probably advise something along those lines. If not, you can use a character that can just remove the paralysis for you. Remember, it is 5 turns of paralysis, but it is only inflicted to the captain, so at least that's kind of nice. Also, something to probably mention is that this team is centered around utilizing the friend captain of Kara and Wanda. Very useful characters for this quest, and if you don't have them, it's not the end of the world. You could, for this particular quest, you could probably get away with using the Neko and Inu Sulong characters as the friend captain. That could probably work for this fight. For the other intrusion boss versus Perospero, which we'll talk about in a moment, definitely would not work. You need Carrot and Wanda for that intrusion, but for the Big Mom quest, you could definitely get away with using Inu or Neko, depending on what your team composition actually is, of course. So that's that. And then moving on to the final boss stage, we actually get cooldown reduction, 3 turns of special reverse to rows 2 and 3. So your captains are unaffected by the special reverse. So that's where, you know, Carrot and Wanda are going to be good, because their special will actually reduce all 3 turns of that. Also 5 turns of chain coefficient reduction, so bring a chain locker for that one. And the enemy has 1 turn of damage immunity and 5 turns of damage reduction. So again, this is where the Sulongs are going to be really good, because they bypass those defensive effects. But you can also use Carrot and Wanda because their own attacks will bypass the defensive effects. So that's actually kind of nice. But also for the chain lock, we're using Jack on this team to get around that, which is great. And we're just really relying on Carrot and Wanda to be our heavy hitter for that final boss stage. We have a chain lock via Jack. The switch effect of Carrot and Wanda will give an attack boost. Their special provides an orb boost. And also we have Hyogoro on the team just to provide a base attack boost and some orb changing as well. So this team seems okay. It's probably not the most optimal team that you can build for this quest, but it is a team that should work for this quest. It is. Okay, so now we're talking about Perospero. Now this is probably the most difficult fight in the entire treasure map. And as we mentioned in the previous team versus Big Mom, you can definitely get away with using Sulong Dog or Cat in that quest as a friend captain, you know, if you don't find too many Carrot and Wandas. And like hypothetically, if you don't have many Carrot and Wandas on your friend list, I would highly recommend saving them for this quest here versus the Intrusion versus Perospero. So the cooldown reduction here is for fighters, slashers, and cerebral characters. And on stage 2, once again, we don't know the unit and we don't know the color of the mini-boss, but due to the fact that Perospero is a quick boss, I wouldn't be surprised if the mini-boss is also a strength boss. But anyways, you'll be inflicted with 3 turns of attack down, you'll be inflicted with an orb lock, also 3 turns of paralysis, 5 turns of damage threshold, and once you kill the stage 2 mini boss, they're going to fully revive and give you 3 turns of special reverse. It's just so much going on here. With this team here, we do get rid of the attack down just via supports. The free-to-play Pedro and the free-to-play Luffy both get rid of 2 and 1 turn of attack down, respectively. In terms of the paralysis, we're getting around that via the Gyukimaru special. The threshold is removed via Brook and the Tashigi special, which is great. And that's pretty much how we're getting around the utility for stage 2. So a lot of the characters on this team are dedicated to the utility on stage 2, because Perospero on the final stage actually doesn't have a lot of utility to really deal with. Now, once we get to the final stage versus Perospero, you can see that you are actually special limited. Special limited 1 turn of 2 times special. So you can only use 2 specials for that first turn. Also, your entire top row is inflicted with a slot bind, so that obviously sucks, but the switch effect of Kara and Wanda are able to remove that. And then also they have a 10 turn slot barrier. You need to hit them with 4 strength slots in order to break through his barrier. Very annoying, but you know, of course, you can just use Kara and Wanda, use their normal attacks to bypass that barrier. If you don't have that, then the Sulongs could technically work, but it's way more difficult to get around. But it could still technically work, just depends on what stage 2 actually is. But I would probably advise Kara and Wanda make this fight here against Perospero just much easier to deal with. So with all that being said, that is going to conclude yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below in the comment section. Man, this treasure map doesn't look too hot, that's for sure. This is going to be a tough one, but at least there is going to be hunger tablets, which is at least a good incentive to farm the treasure map. And of course the rewards, we always like the point rewards, of course. And for my own personal teams, I'll be uploading a video after part 3 debuts for the treasure map Sugo Fest. That is where I personally will be doing my pulls to potentially not only get Kara and Wanda Thunder and the 2 new characters, but potentially also getting Cat Viper as well. So you'll be seeing my personal teams after part 3 has come out, and definitely look forward to that one. But hopefully you guys have enjoyed the video today, and if you guys did enjoy the video, make sure to go ahead and hit the like button. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content that I post on my channel, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But on that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.